Okay, so get this.
Okay.
We're diving deep today into a music project called King David PS95.
Huh. That's a curious name.
It is, right?
Yeah.
And just wait till you hear what it sounds like.
All right. I'm all ears.
So I was checking out their website, right?
Okay.
And they describe it as, get this, King David.
Like the biblical King David?
Exactly. But set to industrial rock.
Whoa. That's unexpected.
Right. You don't often hear those two things together. It's like synthesizers and heavy guitars, but like spiritual themes too.
Yeah, that is a pretty wild combination. Where did this even come from?
Well, that's where it gets even more interesting.
Oh,
The mastermind behind this whole thing is Kevin Greaves.
Kevin Greaves.
Yeah. He's a musician from Birmingham, UK.
Okay.
And get this, he's been doing this solo project for over 20 years.
Over 20 years. Wow, that's dedication.
Right. I mean, talk about commitment. It makes you wonder what's kept him going for so long.
Yeah, 2 decades is a long time to stick with anything. There must be something pretty special about this project.
Absolutely. And I think it has a lot to do with his own personal journey, especially in terms of spiritual growth.
That makes sense. But industrial rock, that's not exactly known for being, uplifting or spiritual.
Exactly. And that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating. You've got this inherent tension, almost like a David versus Goliath kind of struggle.
Huh. David versus Goliath. I like that analogy.
Right. It's like he's taking this dark, intense musical style and using it to explore these really profound themes.
Okay, now you've got me hooked. I have to admit, though, I'm not a huge metalhead. What exactly is industrial rock?
So picture this.
Okay.
You've got these heavy grinding guitars, almost like machinery churning.
Okay, I can hear that.
And then you add in these pulsating synthesizers and this dark, almost mechanical undercurrent. It can be intense, sometimes even a bit unsettling.
Yeah, I can see how that would fit the whole David versus Goliath theme.
Exactly. But there's also this raw energy to it, this feeling of power and intensity.
All right, I'm starting to get the picture.
So the big question is, how does Kevin Greaves bring these two seemingly opposite worlds together? You know, the industrial rock and the spiritual themes.
Right, because those two things don't exactly scream natural pairing.
Well, that's where his artistry comes in. He doesn't shy away from the intensity of the music,
Okay,
but he's using it to express his own personal journey of faith and growth.
so it's like he's channeling that rawness into something really personal.
Exactly. And remember, he plays all the instruments himself, too.
Oh, that's right. He's a one-man band.
Yeah. And he's not afraid to experiment either. He's even mentioned wanting to incorporate other genres in the future.
Really? Like,
Who knows? Maybe we'll hear some King David PS95 with a touch of jazz or even classical music one day.
wow, now that would be something else.
Speaking of music, the website mentions 3 completed albums,
Okay.
A Work in Progress, The Kingdom of Heaven, and Jesus is Lord.
Just the titles themselves are pretty thought-provoking.
Right. And A Work in Progress, that's his debut album.
Mm.
I think the title really speaks to the idea of a journey,
Yeah.
not just musically, but also personally and spiritually.
Yeah, it's like he's acknowledging that he's still evolving, still growing.
Exactly. And speaking of growth, there's a 4th album in the works too, right?
That's right. Of praise, glory, and honor.
I'm so curious to see where he goes musically with this one.
Me too. I mean, will he stick with that intense industrial sound, or will we start to hear some of those other influences coming through?
Ooh, good question. You know, what really strikes me is his ambition. Not just the music itself, but his vision for the future.
What do you mean?
Well, it's one thing to pour your heart and soul into a solo project for 20 years.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to stop there. He's actually aiming to form a band and bring this music to the stage.
Whoa, hold on. A live band? That's a whole other level.
Right. Imagine trying to recreate those complex layers of sound live.
Yeah.
It'd be a massive undertaking.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But then again, remember that whole David versus Goliath thing we were talking about? Maybe that's part of the appeal for him, overcoming those seemingly impossible challenges.
You've got a point. And it goes even further than just the music. He wants to incorporate visuals into the live shows, too.
Visuals, like what?
I don't know. That's what's so exciting. Imagine the kind of imagery you could create to complement those heavy sounds and spiritual themes.
Yeah, it could be incredibly powerful, almost like a rock opera or something.
Exactly. But it makes you wonder,
Right.
will this only appeal to people who share his specific religious beliefs? Or is there a broader message here, something about personal growth and overcoming obstacles that could resonate with anyone?
That's a good question. I think there's definitely a potential for that. At its core, this project is an expression of one man's personal journey, But that journey, that struggle, the search for meaning and expression, those are universal themes, aren't they? I mean, even if you don't connect with the religious aspects, there's something compelling about seeing someone pour their whole being into their art.
Absolutely. So, to recap, we've got this incredibly dedicated musician, Kevin Greaves, who's been crafting this unique blend of industrial rock and spiritual themes for over 20 years.
And he's not showing any signs of slowing down either.
Not at all. He's got a new album coming out and even bigger aspirations for live shows.
You know, it really makes you think, here's someone who's taken something as ancient and familiar as the story of King David
Right.
and fused it with this modern, often abrasive musical style.
It's pretty unexpected.
And in doing so, he's created something entirely new and unexpected. It begs the question, what other seemingly incompatible combinations are out there, just waiting to be discovered?
What a great question to end on.
Yeah.
Definitely leaves you with a lot to ponder.
It does.
Well, that's our deep dive into King David PS95. Definitely a project worth checking out no matter what your musical tastes are.
I agree.
Thanks for listening.
See you next time.